let's continue with the explanation. So we were discussing this slide, isn't it? So I think it is clear to you. So this urinary bladder, when it enlarges in size, you feel the pain in your stomach, and through the urethra and urinary opening, the urine is released from your body. So this is how the excretory system works. I will give you a YouTube video regarding that. Please go through it for your proper understanding. So let's move on. So we have all experienced that we sweat on a hot summer day. The sweat contains water and salts, isn't it? So if you taste your sweat, it is actually salty, isn't it? Sometimes it happens, no? When your mouth is sweating, you can feel the taste of your sweat. It is salty because it contains a lot of salts, okay? Does sweat serve any other function? We know that the water kept in an earthen pot or matka is cooler. Now sweat, does it serve any other function? Yes, sweat helps in cooling your body. So whenever the sweat comes out of your body and you wipe off the sweat, you will feel a cooling sensation. So it will cool your body, it will bring down your body temperature, okay? So in an earthen pot or matka, you will find that the water is very cool. Have you seen that? It's very, very cool. This is because the water evaporates from the pores of the pot, which causes cooling. So the matka or the earthen pot has minute pores. So the water will evaporate through the pores. The heat will come out through the pores. So that is why the water inside the matka is very, very cool. Okay. So the way in which waste chemicals are removed from the body of the animal depends on the availability of water. Okay. That means how the water is removed, the waste is removed from the body, it depends on the availability of water. Aquatic animals like fishes excrete cell waste as ammonia, which directly dissolves in water. Now fishes, which are the aquatic animals, they excrete or remove the waste products as ammonia. So ammonia is a waste product, very, very dangerous waste product, and that is actually present in aquatic animals. Okay. So they release the waste product as ammonia because ammonia can directly dissolve in water. Because they live in water, so the waste products, if it's not released as ammonia, if it is released like us, it will be there in the water, which is very, very dirty. So ammonia directly gets dissolved in water. So the waste products, it's not visible in water actually because of that. Okay. Yeah. So now land animals like birds, lizards, snakes excrete a semi-solid white colored compound, which is uric acid. So uric acid is another waste product. Now uric acid is excreted by mainly birds, okay, lizards, snakes, okay. It's kind of a semi-solid, it's not proper solid like our waste products are proper solid, isn't it, feces? But these animals, their waste products are like semi-solid, okay. So that is called uric acid. The major excretory product in humans is urea. Okay, the excretory product in our case, that is urea. That is why kidneys are very important, because only the kidneys can remove the urea. Okay, only the kidneys can remove the urea. So if kidneys are not working in your body, that is very, very dangerous, right? Now sometimes a person's kidney may stop working due to an infection or injury. As a result of kidney failure, waste products start accumulating in the blood. Such persons cannot survive unless their blood is filtered periodically through an artificial kidney. This process is called dialysis. Now sometimes what happens, a person's kidney might not work. You have heard, isn't it? Kidney transplantation is done. One kidney got damaged, okay? So that may be due to accident, that can be due to a disease, or might be due to an injury, okay? So in that case, what happens when the kidney doesn't work or due to kidney failure, waste products will accumulate in the blood. Urea will become more and more in the blood, isn't it? So when urea is more and more means what? You are facing a lot of danger. So that has to be removed immediately. Those waste products have to be removed or filtered immediately. So for that, what can be done? There is a machine. That machine is called dialysis machine. Okay. So in that machine, what is done? You have to hospitalize the patient. Okay. Periodically, you have to take the patient to the hospital. So that machine will clean the blood. Okay. So there is one injection. Through the injection, blood will go into the machine. The machine will do the work of the kidney. The machine will keep clean the blood, like the kidneys keep clean the blood inside our body. So the machine is going to clean the blood, and clean blood is again injected back into the body. That is a very tiresome process, and it's a very, very strenuous process. It takes a lot of time, and that is called dialysis. I think you must have heard about dialysis. I'll try to give you a video where you can see how it is done. Okay, and okay, so that is one solution. Another solution is kidney transplantation. That means you have to remove the damaged kidney and you have to take a healthy kidney from another individual and you have to provide to that individual. But kidney transplantation is not so easy either. Why? Because you have to check the blood group. So if the blood group is matching, that's okay, but if the blood group is not matching and the kidney is not accepted, then it becomes very dangerous. Okay, so that is why two steps are there. First thing is kidney transplantation. Okay, if a person's kidney is damaged, you take a kidney from a healthy individual and provide it to the patient. Second thing is dialysis. That means you have a machine where you clean the blood of the patient, and you have to take that periodically, maybe after 1 month or maybe after a few weeks. It depends on how dangerous situation the patient is facing. Okay, yeah, so let's move on. Now we come to the next topic, that is transport of substances in plants. Now plants take water and mineral nutrients from the soil through the roots and transport it to the leaves. The leaves prepare food for the plant using water and carbon dioxide during photosynthesis, isn't it? So from the roots, the water and minerals are taken to the leaf. Photosynthesis is done. You know about photosynthesis, okay? And the food is transported to different parts of the plant. Now food is the source of energy, and every cell of an organism gets energy by the breakdown of glucose, isn't it? So all of you know the process of photosynthesis, how glucose is broken down and energy is given, isn't it? The cells use this energy to carry out vital activities of their life. That happens in case of respiration. So in respiration, what happens inside the cell? The glucose is broken down with the help of oxygen and energy is provided, and that energy goes to each and every part of the body for doing the work. Okay, therefore food must be made available to every cell of an organism. Every cell of an organism should get food. Okay, food is so important, isn't it? Yeah, so now you can see this is how the transport of water is done. So what is xylem? Xylem is actually a tissue that is present in the plants. You have two tissues in plants, one is xylem, one is phloem. So xylem and phloem together, they form pipes throughout the plant. Okay, they form pipes throughout the plant, and with the help of those pipes, water and minerals are carried to different parts of the plant. Okay, so xylem now actually helps in the transport of water. Xylem mainly helps in the transport of water and minerals, and phloem actually helps in transport of food throughout the plant. Okay, so now this is the enlarged part of the root. So here you can see this is the root hair. Root hair, you know, that is present near the root. Okay, that is attached to the root. This is the soil particle, and these are the xylem vessels present in the root. Okay, xylem vessels, those are called vessels, like we have blood vessels, okay, where blood flows. Similarly, plants have xylem vessels and phloem vessels by which food and water and minerals go to different parts of the plant. Now xylem vessels are present in the root. It is present everywhere actually, from the root to the tip of the plant. Okay, so here a portion of the root is shown. So from the root will absorb the water, and through the root hair, okay, it will go to each and every part of the plant. Now this is the plant. You can see the root will suck water, and this water will go through the stem to the leaf to every part of the plant. So this is done through the xylem vessels, and through the phloem vessels what happens, the food that is prepared in the leaf, that will go to each and every part of the plant through the phloem vessels. Okay, yeah. Now transport of water and minerals. Plants absorb water and minerals by the roots. The roots have root hair. The root hair increase the surface area of the root for absorption of water and minerals dissolved in water. That means because of the root hair, easily the water and minerals are transported to different parts of the plant. The root hair actually helps for doing that. Okay. The root hair is in contact with water present between the soil particles, because where is the water present in the soil? Between the soil particles. So the root hair will go inside the soil particle because it is so thin, okay, and easily it can take water from the soil particles. Plants have pipe-like vessels to transport water and nutrients from the soil. those pipe-like vessels are of two types. One is xylem, one is phloem, as I told you. So xylem helps in transport of water and minerals from the roots to different parts of the plant, and phloem helps in the transport of food from different parts of the plant, I mean from the leaf to different parts of the plant. Okay. Yeah. So the vessels are made up of special cells forming the vascular tissue. A tissue is a group of cells that perform specialized function in an organism. Now, vascular tissue together, vascular tissue is the collective name for xylem and phloem. Okay, xylem and phloem together, they are called vascular tissues or vascular bundles. Okay, together, remember, the xylem and phloem are called the vascular tissue or vascular bundle, and the transport of water and minerals or transport of food, that means the transport system together is called the water vascular system in plants. Like in our case, it is called what? Circulatory system. Okay, so in plants case, it is called water vascular system. Okay, so what is present? Like we have arteries, veins and capillaries for transport of blood. Similarly, plants have xylem vessels and phloem vessels for transport of food and water. Clear? Okay, so they are present throughout the plant. Like our arteries and veins are present throughout our body. Similarly, these xylem vessels and phloem vessels, they are present throughout the plant. So the vascular tissue for transport of water and nutrients in the plant is called xylem. As I told you, the xylem forms a continuous network of channels that connects roots to the leaves through the stem and branches, and thus transports water to the entire plant. As I told you, xylem starts from the roots and it goes everywhere to the plants. Okay, and it transports food and water, okay, to the entire plant. Now you know that the leaves synthesize food. The food has to be transported to all parts of the plant. This is done by a vascular tissue called the phloem. Now phloem, remember, it transports food from the leaves to different parts of the plant. Okay. Thus xylem and phloem transport substances in plants. Okay. Now these activities are not required for your exam. Now the last topic, transpiration. This I think all of you know. Plants release a lot of water by the process of transpiration, like we sweat. Similarly, plants also have to sweat, isn't it, to cool the plant. So that excess water is removed through transpiration. That happens through the leaves of the plant, through stomata. Okay. Plants absorb mineral nutrients and water from the soil. Not all the water absorbed is utilized by the plant. Like we drink lots of water, but all the water is not utilized in our body. So it comes out as urine. Similarly, or sweat. Similarly, plants also absorb a lot of water. So all water is not required. So the excess water, it comes out through the leaves, through the stomata, through transpiration. Okay. The water evaporates through the stomata present on the surface of the leaf by the process of transpiration. The evaporation of water from the leaves generates a suction pull that you produce when you suck water through a straw, which can pull water to great height in tall trees. Very important. So when we suck water, we know how you suck water through the straw. Similarly, transpiration is happening through the leaves. So this process of sucking of water is done through the leaves, isn't it? So that sucking of water generates a pull in the plant. So that pull helps in, carrying water to the tall trees from the roots. Okay, so that pull helps in carrying water from the roots to the tip of the tall trees. Now transpiration also cools the plant. Very, very important. So like when we sweat, there is a cooling sensation produced in our body. Similarly, when transpiration occurs in plant, there is a cooling sensation in plant. So it helps to cool the plant in summers. Okay, and transpiration is more in summers. Like sweating is more in our case, isn't it, in summers. So similarly in plants also, transpiration is more in case of summer months. Okay, so that's all for the chapter. I hope you have understood. So I'll give you the YouTube videos. Please go through them. That will help you in understanding better. So thank you all of you and have a